Shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rakak, Wadash, and double honor to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone that rule well and teach well while learning truth 100% according to the Bible. Also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophets, servants scattered abroad the four corners of the earth, and shalom to you, Akwaf, which are you sisters that are sincere your children, shalom. And in today's video is going to be another video building off of the brother Hopeful Like 3. And as you can see from the title, it said the stage is being set for all-out war in Babylon, you see. And we know ultimately these times are coming to America. You are going to have civil unrest. You see sedition among men. You see people fighting against each other. Things like that, man. Those are all part of the prophecies, man. You see, because when the Lord Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, was talking to his disciples, you see, he gave them a rundown of basically everything in which it is that was ultimately going to be occurring in the earth, ultimately prior to his second return. And all of these things the Lord said will be happening. You see nation against nation, which goes into, people fighting against each other, man. And that's soon to come, going to happen here in America, Babylon the Great. And everything that we see ultimately playing out is ultimately the events that are going to lead to these situations occurring, you see. So, yeah, I'm going to grab a precept real quick and then we'll get into the video, because ultimately all of these things that we see happening is ultimately symbolizing that America, you see, Babylon the Great is at its end. That's why all of these things are ultimately happening in this country, man. It's no coincidence that these things are happening, and it's all being orchestrated by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. The Lord is ultimately designing and controlling all of these things that we see happening in this country, man. You see, because this place is getting ready to go out, man. You see, by destruction, right? But this is St. Matthew chapter 12, and I'm going to start at verse 25, getting straight to the point. And I'm going to read it in the KJV, right? It says, "And Yahweh Shah knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand." And that's what you see happening here in America. You got all of these politicians and the governors and all of these people fighting against each other. You got America's own military and National Guard being deployed upon its citizens. All of these things are indicators that this place, America, is over, man. That it has reached its end, man. You see, and the men of the Lord have been warning you people, mainly you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, which are the biblical Hebrew Israelites, according to the Bible, that these things are coming. And that the Lord is ultimately the one that's bringing these things, man. You see, so I'm going to read that same scripture, but in a different translation. I'm going to read it in the NLT. And it says, "And Yahweh Shah knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed," right? Because, hey, it's about to be civil war taking place very soon here in this place, America, man, because that's what all of these different unrighteous decrees and Trump deploying the National Guard to all of these different states and cities here in America, that's what it's going to start, man. A civil uproar of the people, man. Right? It says a town or family splintered by feuding will fall apart. So like I said, all of these things only detail that America is over. You see, and we're at the end, you see, of the so-called white man, Esau Edom, ruling the earth and being in power, man. So that's why all of these things are happening, right? And it's only going to continue to escalate, and things are only going to get worse from here on out, right? So I'm going to get into this video. We're going to listen to what it is that the woman is basically saying. But before I started, I want to say fair use under the 1976 Copyright Act. You see, I'm not getting paid for this video. This is only for educational purposes only. With that being said, fair use, right?
The definition of a civil war is simply a war between citizens of the same country. It doesn't matter their status or ranking. All it says is citizens against citizens. So now when we think back on our first civil war, this was civilians versus civilians. However, we are now seeing the start of what I believe is a civil war. However, it's our National Guard and some of our military against civilians. However, both are considered citizens. And a few decades from now, they might even argue that this started a few months ago out in California. We are seeing a very gradual rise in the violence occurring, especially through the footage coming out at some of these protests. They've also been given the order to carry rifles in DC, and I think they are waiting on one specific triggering moment for this to become fully widespread.
Yep, and that's what they doing, you see, because ultimately what a lot of these people don't understand, you see, is that we're at the end, man. And this devil, you see, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, he knows that he had but a short time, right? So, hey, he's about to come down heavy, man, upon mainly you Israelites, but also upon his own people. You see, upon everybody that's in this country, America. That's what this devil's about to do. You see, he's about to, show his horns, man, so to speak, right? This is Revelations 12:12, right? And this is ultimately why we're about to see all of these things happen. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, right, so-called white man, has come down into you, right, talking about you so-called Babylonians, you Americans, you see, mainly the Israelites, because that's who he's ultimately trying to come after in these times, you see. But hey, he's going to be coming after everybody, man, right? Having great wrath, meaning extreme anger, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. So like I said, this man wants chaos. He wants calamities. He wants, civil unrest and all type of different things to happen, man, because that's who this man is, man. You see, this man's the harbinger of death, and like I said, we're in that time of season where the Lord is about to allow this man to unleash and to try to bring forward this new world order agenda, which is ultimately going to fail, of course. But hey, that's what this man is doing. And ultimately, he needs a situation to occur, you see, order out of chaos. They ultimately create the chaos, you see, by ultimately them bringing the migrants or the illegals, they would like to call them, over the border during the time of Joe Biden. And ultimately, they seen how the people was reacting to it, talking about how crime is high and all of these different types of things, you see. And now you got Trump coming in with the reaction to what the people have been complaining about, which is him implementing and instituting a lot of these National Guards throughout these cities here in America, which, like I said, the whole stage is being set for chaos, man. And these devils know that, but that's what they want to bring forth, you see. And ultimately, it's the will of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, because all these things are going according to prophecy, you see, as the scriptures have said. So that's why these things are really playing themselves out, man. Right, as it says right here, this is Isaiah chapter 19, and I'm gonna start at verse 2. It says, and I, right, talking about the Heavenly Father, right, because ultimately the Lord is the one that's controlling everything. As I said earlier, he's the one that's going to bring these bad times upon this place, America. He's the one that's judging this place, even though he's using the so-called white man as his whooping stick on the left-hand side to do a lot of these things. The Lord is still the one that's conducting everything that's going to happen in this place, America. Everything that these devils are putting in place, you see, the Lord is doing these things. He's behind it, right? So it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, talking about you American, you Babylonians, man. You people here in America that are entitled and privileged, you see, you people that think this place is going to continue to keep going on, doing the things that it's doing in this country. You people that think, that everything is going to go back to normal soon come. You see, nah, normality is not coming to this country. The only thing is coming is a bunch of chaos and confusion, man. You see, that's what the Lord is going to bring to this place. Right. It says, and they shall fight, right? Everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. So, hey, that's going to happen in America, man. You people in this country soon come that are not of the Lord's elect. Hey, you people will be fighting against each other, man. You see, that's what's going to come out of all of this. Right. And like I said, these devils know that. Right. So, hey, it's a recipe for disaster, man. But, hey, these things got to come because, like I said, it's all prophecy. So these things will come to pass. Right. And ultimately, Abaratazah, we just want to pray that we're of the Lord's elect, that when these times do come, that, hey, we're on this good side, man, that we don't fall in the line of that judgment, man, because this is why the Lord is bringing these things to ultimately to bring forth judgment upon this place, America, man. You see, for the wickedness that goes on in this country, man. You see, 2/3 of the Lord's people are going to get it, and as well as these other heathens that are going to get caught in the midst of everything that's happening. Right. But these things are coming. Right.
In today's world, especially in this country, we are not going to see one big in-your-face sign of this is civil war. That would cause a loss of power. We're already seeing how many people are simply turning a blind eye to this and continuing their lives like nothing is happening. And that's how they want it, because if every single person in this country was fully awake and aware to what was going on, they would lose immediately. But this small uptick.
You see, and this is what a lot of these Babylonians don't understand, you see. They don't know that the Lord is the one that's controlling and narrating everything that's happening. You see, because these people don't understand this is all part of prophecy and that these things have to come. You see. And I'm going to go to a few precepts just touching on that by ultimately this being the will of the Lord, man. These things are going to happen regardless, man. And you see, the Lord is controlling the minds of these leaders, man. He's putting the spirit on them to do the things that they're doing, sending all of these National Guard troops to these different states. That's all the Lord, man. You see, it's not Esau doing these things on his own because he want to. No, the Lord is putting the spirit on this man to make the actions that he's doing. This is Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart, meaning his mind, is in the hands of the Lord, right? So every decision that these devils make, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is sealing the instructions in their mind to do it, right? Because it's all his will at the end of the day, you know? And like I said, it's all forwarding prophecy, right? But these people here in America, they don't understand these things, man. That's why when these times do come, these people are going to be done, man. Right. It said, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Right. And he's turning it all in the direction of prophecy being fulfilled. Right. That's why he's doing these things, you see, to allow his words to come to pass. Right.
And violence and this very gradual war happening is what's allowing them to take further and further steps. A lot of us predicted that a civil war would happen during this presidency, but it's turning out to be nothing like how we predicted it or how we even in our minds think of a civil war. It's very different. But I hope you're all aware of what's happening right now.
As a veteran, people keep asking me, is this actually a military occupation? Are we really going into a civil war? The answer is yes, to the occupation part. The civil war yet to be determined. The truth is, you cannot send the military onto U.S. soil to control any parts of the United States without it being some type of military occupation. That's what it is. That's the definition. The military is occupying an area and controlling it. The fact that he's talking about sending it to 19 different states, likely he's going to try to send them to blue states like New York and Los Angeles.
Right. And ultimately, the only thing this does is further indicate that Trump is that guy, man. Right. As it tells you right here, I'm going to grab that. This is Isaiah chapter 19. And I'm going to read verse 4, right, in the KJV. It says, and the Egyptians, right, talking about you Americans, will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, which is Nero Trump, man, you see. And a fierce king, right, shall rule over them, right, saith the Lord of hosts, man. You see, and ever since Trump have ultimately came into the White House, he's been doing all type of different things that former presidents have not done, man. And like I said, all that does is prove that he's that man that the Lord have put in the so-called White House for these times that we're in, man. You see, that man that is ultimately going to get all chaos and get everything started here in this country, man. Trump is that guy, man. Everything that he's doing is proving that he's the guy, man, that the Lord is about to use to bring these terrible times upon this country, man. You see, and so be it, man. You see, we're happy that these things are actually happening, you know, because like I said, it just proves that we're closer, Abaratazah, we're the Lord's elect to getting the hell up out of here, you know. So, hey, everything Trump is doing is good, man, because like I said, it's all going according to prophecy. So, hey, we're rejoicing right now as hopeful elect brothers and sisters in these times, seeing all of these things ultimately happen, because we know that, hey, we're not too far behind, man, you know, that things are moving, man, which is good. Right. But these Americans, like I said, these people here that all they know is this place. Hey, these people are going to be sick, man, when stuff really does hit the fan. You know, they're going to be through. They're not going to know what to do in these times. You see, especially the 2/3 of our own people. They have not been building themselves up in the Lord, preparing their spirits, trying to get right, you know, for these times that we're coming into, because it's about to get deadly serious out here, man. You know, very soon in these streets of America, you know, as it tells you in the scriptures, it's going to be a time like no other, man. Right. Matthew 24:21. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened, man. You see, and that's just going to show you how bad is literally going to be out here, that to the point where the Lord literally has to speed up the time for his elect, man, because that's just how chaotic and, you know, disastrous is going to be out here in these streets of America, man, very soon. Right. So, yeah, we're going to get back into the video. But like I said, these people can feel it, man. Everybody knows that something bad is going to happen in America. People just don't know ultimately the time or the date. But everybody can feel it, man. You see, because, hey, that's the spirit of the Lord, man. Because like I said, we're in a time and season of judgment, you know, and these judgments are about to start being unleashed upon this place, man. You see, things are about to get way worse than what people seeing now, right? Everything that they see ultimately happening with Trump moving the National Guard around to these states, that's only the beginning of the plans that these devils ultimately have, man, and that the Lord is going to allow them to do. That's only the beginning, man, right?
going to go well. It's not going to go well at all. I fear for the soldiers. I fear for the people that go against the soldiers. I fear for my countrymen. Flat out. Doesn't matter what side you're on. I fear for the American citizen.
Are we on the brink of another civil war? If you would have asked me 10 years ago, do I think I would ever see a civil war in my time, I would have said no immediately. But now, it's not that far-fetched, which is crazy. Because what happens when you back someone into a corner? Like if it's a scared animal or a scared person, what normally happens when a person is backed into a corner? You know that fight or flight response? That's kind of what happens.
Right. And that's exactly what's going to happen, like she just said, because a lot of these Americans, like I said, you got to look at everything that's ultimately happening in America. You got the stock market going down, people not getting paid enough on these jobs. You got mass layoffs going on, a lot of people in poverty and not, being able to make ends meet and things like that. You got all of this stuff going on in this country, right along with them sending the military to a majority of these cities soon come. So like I said, everything is just being set up for disaster, man. Like I said, and these people know it, man, but hey, it is what it is, man. We're in the time of prophecy, and the judgments are going to come. So, hey, it is what it is. People are just about to feel the wrath of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. For a lot of you proud Americans out here, you see, only people that are going to be spared in these times are the Lord elect. You see, which we ultimately pray and hope that we're a part of, that, hey, we're able to escape these judgments. But these things are going to happen, man. All of these times that these people ultimately don't want to come upon this place is going to happen, man. You see, that's just the reality of the situation. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 29. It says, behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, right? Verse 30. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth, right? Verse 31. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. Hey, that's what's going to be happening soon coming here in America, man. People going to be fighting against each other, right? Like I said, when people have nothing to lose, they lose it, man. And like I said, these people's lives in this place is already finished. A lot of these people already understand that the economy is not going to get better. They know that things are only just going to continue to get worse as long as this man is in the so-called White House. You see, these people have no hope, man. You see, so they're going to bug out, man. And the government knows that. You see, that's why, like I said, they're sending all of these National Guard troops to these different cities because they know that soon come that something is going to happen that's just going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back to where these people are just going to lose their minds. Right? What did it tell you in Matthew 24:12? And because iniquity shall abound, that the love of many shall wax cold, man. That means psychos, crazy people just losing their mind, and that's what's going to happen soon come. It's going to be just a switch that the Heavenly Father is going to put on the spirit of these Babylonians to where, hey, they're going to just be fed up with everything that they've ultimately been getting dealt. And they're just going to, people are going to take matters into their own hands. That's basically what's going to happen. Right. And that's when you're going to have all of this chaos happening. You see, that's when 2nd Ezra 15 going to come to play. Right, which we're going to grab that, because these are the times and seasons that we're in. Right. These things are on the cusp of happening, man. Right. And everybody knows it. Right. And this is why it's important for you so-called Negroes, Latinos and Native American Indians, both men and women, to be seeking Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, man, while you ultimately have time, because it's only a matter of time before these things begin to manifest, man, and that all hell is breaking loose in you people's streets out here. You see, so hey, you want to begin right with the Lord while you still can, man. You see, as it tells you in Sirach chapter 5, verse 7, and I'm actually grab that and we're going to come back. Right. This is what you Israelites should be doing right now in this time, man. Seeking the Lord, man, while you can. Because, hey, the danger is coming, man. And, hey, if you don't have the Lord as your protection, you're going to get caught in the midst of it when all of these times that the men of the Lord, starting off with the elder apostles and the elder bishops and the men on down teaching the same doctrine, ultimately have been warning you people about. When you actually start seeing these things happening and it's no longer us talking about it, but you're actually seeing it for yourselves, you people going to wish that you sought after the Lord, man. So, hey, you want to take this thing seriously. Especially now in these times, man, because we're going to need the Lord to make it through these hazardous times that are coming, man. These perils, these evils that are ultimately about to come upon this place. Right. This is Sirach chapter 5, verse 7. Make no tarrying, right, to turn to the Lord. Talking about you Israelites, man. Right. Don't take your time to turn back to the Lord. You see, everything in this country is about to go in flames very soon, man. You see, and your only hope in these times is going to be if the Lord has mercy on you, man, that you're going to get through it, right? So you want to turn to the Lord while you have time. It said, and put not off from day to day, right? For suddenly, right? And that's how these events are going to take place. When these evils and everything in America begins to transpire and things get worse in this country, right? It's going to happen suddenly, man. People are not going to be expecting it. Just like people didn't expect Donald Trump to put the National Guard in D.C., but he did it, just like most people didn't expect him to come out with a legislation saying that he's about to place these National Guards in 20 plus more states in America. You see? So everything is happening suddenly while you people out here playing around, man. And it's going to happen suddenly when these evils and when these chaotic times are going to begin to manifest. You see, people not going to be expecting it. People are going to be out here just living their lives, going about their day to day like they always do, living in la la land, and all hell going to break loose on you people, man. You see, this is what's coming. It says, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, because this is all, like I said, being directed by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. The Lord is the one that's about to bring these evil times, man. So ultimately, you want to get right with him while you can, man, that you're able to escape the judgment that he's bringing. You see, because he's about to bring these civil wars. He's about to bring these class wars, race wars, and everything else that's ultimately about to be occurring in this city, in this country, I should say, you know. It says, and in thy security, right, when you're thinking everything good, you see, and that's what a lot of you Americans think. You don't believe things in this country is going to get better or worse, I should say, especially the 2/3 of our people. They don't believe that America is going to go down. They don't believe that these things that the men of the Lord is telling them about is actually going to come. A lot of you people don't. That's why, hey, when you thinking everything good and everything going in your favor, that's when the Lord going to bring these destruction, man. That's when he's going to bring these devastating times, man, upon people when they're not expecting it. You see, it says, in thy security, thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance, man. You see, because the Lord is about to bring vengeance upon the earth, man, especially to Babylon and Great America. And I'm going to look at that word vengeance just on the AI overview on Google, because this is what the Lord is about to bring. You see, it says vengeance, the act of taking revenge, harming someone in retaliation for something harmful that they have done, especially in the next life. You see, so ultimately this is talking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians. You constantly, not repenting and turning back to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. You're just out here willfully sinning, doing all type of wickedness, man. That's why the Lord is about to, mainly punish 2/3 of his people in this time, man, when all of these things begin to happen. Because like I said earlier, when the devil comes in with great wrath, who you think he's going to come after the most? You Israelites. You see, you're going to be primary target number one. Where do you think Donald Trump is sending all of these military troops to? You see, he said he's sending them to the slums, the barrios, the ghettos, where you Jakes are, man. You see, so the Lord is about to allow this man to turn up upon you wicked Israelites that have not been seeking him, man. You see, you're going to be the main ones suffering in these times that are coming, right along with the rest of these heathens. But mainly it's going to be you Jakes, man. You see? So, yeah, we're going to get back into the video, all right? And we're going to watch the rest of it, all right? And then I'm going to get that second Esdras 15 in a minute, Lord's will.
That fight or flight response, that's kind of what happens. If you back someone up into a corner and they feel like they have no other options, they usually come out swinging because they feel like they have no other options. You've literally taken away every single option and they feel like they have nothing else left to lose. And so they feel like their only option is to fight. Just so happens is people...
Right. And what she is saying is absolutely right. That's what a lot of these Americans are about to realize, man. You see, and that's what's going to really send them into chaos, man. Because like I said, they're going to understand that America, as they know it, is over, man. That the glory days, this country being good and the mirth in this land, everybody making a lot of money and laughing, living their lives and a joyful, merry-hearted spirit. Hey, all of that's about to come to an end, man. You see, that's what's going to come. And that's what's going to be the catalyst that's going to make these people bug out when they realize that the life as they know it, the so-called good life that they have been living in this place comes to an end, especially for you 2/3 Jakes and you Edomites and you other heathens, man. You people that are caught up in this Babylonian lifestyle. When all of this stuff begins to slow up for you people, which is already slowing up now, but hey, it's only going to get worse as days progress, And that's going to get people to the breaking point, man, of where they're just going to lose it, man. Like I said, because these people are already on thin lines as is, man, with everything that is happening in this place. You see, you got the tariffs making everything more expensive, people not even getting paid enough from their jobs. So now people got to try to provide for their families and make ends meet when they can't, due to how everything in this society is being ran. So like I said, people are frustrated, man, and people just at the point now where they want to just, lose it, man. You see, people, are not probably, or ultimately, I should say, they're not putting their trust in this country anymore, man, because they see that it's over. You see, a good majority of these people can see that, right? And like I said, everything is being done by design. You see, the Lord is the one that's doing all of these things, man. You see, and like I said, it all goes back to prophecy being fulfilled. So these things are going to happen. People are going to get to the point where they're just going to, eventually, take matters into their own hands, right?
People within the country that's happening too. Not saying I condone or promote violence or war in any way, shape, or form. All I'm saying is a civil war is not so far-fetched. Okay, so listen. Me and my husband decided to go back and watch the Purge series, right? Starting off with Purge Anarchy, because the very first Purge really doesn't matter. This isn't our first time watching the series. We've watched Purge a lot because, for obvious reasons. But tell me why we've never paid attention to the fact that in the Purge Anarchy, the new founding father, his name was Donald Talbot. Outside of that, towards the end of the movie, at the very end of the movie, I guess you can call him one of the officers or one of the sergeants. I don't know what you call him. He's saying that the citizens aren't purging the way that the government wants them to. So what did they do? They sent in militia groups and started targeting projects, basically low-income type neighborhoods, to so-called keep the balance. And you can't tell me that doesn't sound exactly like what Donald Trump is doing in D.C., what he's trying to do in Alabama, what he's trying to do in New York City. Like, they put it in our face. It's called a vision.
Right. And she absolutely right. That's what they do. Is called predictive programming, man. That's why you see from all of the movies that they have been releasing here in America for the last 2-3 years, you see from whether it's Leave the World Behind, whether it's the Civil War movie that just came out, I believe maybe about a year or two ago. They make these movies punted in you people's face, but they know a lot of people, they just look at it like it's a movie, like, oh, these things will never happen. You see, but no, they're telling you their plans right in you people's face. And only the people that can ultimately see through it are the men of the Lord and the women that the Lord also is dealing with. You see, that has the eye salve. We know that these are not just movies that they're making. We know that these are ultimately blueprints and things that they're laying out of what they want to bring forth, man. You see, these are all the agendas of these elites, which is ultimately the agenda of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, because like I said, the Lord is controlling these people. And everything that they're doing is all being orchestrated by the Lord. So at the end of the day, the Lord is going to bring these things, man, right? These purge type events and situations, they're going to happen, right?
For a reason.
So Pete Hegseth has ordered the National Guard to start carrying assault rifles, weapons, and assault-style weapons on the streets of DC. And I know there's going to be lots of comments and questions about this, but here's my 25 cents on this. They want violence to erupt. They want it to happen. Because that will then justify the control. What do you think? Let me know what you think about what I've just said in the comments.
Right. And ultimately, it's the Lord that wants the violence, you see, because Matthew 10:34 says, to think not that I am come to send peace on earth, I came not to send peace but a sword. And in the book of St. Luke, I believe, chapter 12, verse 32, it says, think that I come to send peace. And the Lord said, I'd rather say nay, but division, roughly paraphrasing it. So the Lord is the one that's bringing all of this tension, man. He's the one that's bringing these times of evil and uncertainty and people being at odds against each other and a division in this country. The Lord is doing that, man. You see? And like I said, it's ultimately all to bring forward prophecy, man. Right? And I'm going to start at 2nd Esdras chapter 15. And I'm going to start at verse 14, right? Because this is what's coming. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe meaning destruction, because a lot of people are about to be judged. Verse 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, which something that's fastly approaching, soon to come. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, man. That's going to be happening in these streets of America. Because like I said, these Babylonians, they're going to eventually take matters into their own hands. They're not going to be listening to the government. They're not going to be listening to so-called Donald Trump and their mayors and their different types of congressmen and women that have been speaking to them and feeding them lies all of these years that you people vote for. You see, people are not going to be listening to them. People are going to, like I said, do things the way they want to do it, do things that they see fit. Right. This is what's coming. It says, verse 15 again, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Right. Verse 16, for there should be sedition among men. And that's what's going to happen soon come here in America. Because like I said, there will be some type of pushback, man, whether it's Jake, whether it's these Edomites, it's going to be some type of pushback with these National Guard troops being in these cities. You're going to have one crazy person, man, whether it's staged or whatever it may be. But you're going to have a situation take place where somebody's going to rebel or revolt or ultimately even try to shoot at the National Guard or something like that. And it's going to be something crazy. The Lord going to allow something to happen, right? And hey, things are going to heat up, so there will be sedition among men, which people, uprising against the government and things like that. You're going to have these people ultimately doing these things very soon, It says, and invading one another, right? They shall not regard their kings nor princes, right? People not going to be worried about what the police department is talking about in these times when there's complete lawlessness going on outside. People ain't going to be caring about what the president talking about. People not even going to be regarding these military troops, man. Like I said, everybody is going to be out here just doing whatever they see fit for themselves, man. People just going to be out here roaming around doing whatever, man. It's going to be complete chaos, man. Right? And it says, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And why is that? Because like I said, you're going to have military checkpoints, man, things being barricaded, you see, and stuff like that. You won't be able to move around freely. All of that stuff is coming to an end of people just walking around doing whatever they want to do. This devil wants complete control, man. And ultimately, that all leads up to the MOTB hip. You see, because ultimately we know that this man wants to put an implantable device the size of a grain of rice into all of you people, man. You see, and ultimately this is going to come because it's prophecy, but we know the Lord is going to be with his elect in these times. They're ultimately going to overcome this hour of temptation. But that's what all of this goes back to. You see, the whole layout is for the MOTB to be brought into fruition, to be made mandatory, you see, because like I said, they can't just bring in the chip if there's no chaos. That's why they got to create the chaos and bring in the so-called order, which is going to be them establishing this new system, bringing in this MOTB, chipping everybody up, those that do receive the chip, which are going to be those that are not the elect. They're going to take this device, you see, and they're ultimately going to be destroyed right along with this place America when it goes down, right? But it says a man shall have Salakia. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? Like I said, you won't be able to move around freely in these cities, man. Because guess what? At the end of the day, everything is going to be locked down, man. You see military troops everywhere in all of these different cities. You see holding up barricades, telling you that, if you want to ultimately go through this path or go through this next city, hey, you got to have your RFID hip. Because that's what it all goes back to. This is the plan for these devils, man. They want to bring in their new world order. So this is what they're trying to set up. And it's happening right in front of these people's faces. But like I said, these people don't know prophecy. They don't know the scripture. So they don't see what all of this is ultimately alluding and setting up for. You see, they just thinking, oh, man, it's just the military. And they're looking at it from a carnal level. They're not looking at it from the spirit. You see, that's why these people, when these times come, they're going to be finished, right? Because they have no idea what's coming upon them, man, at all, right? But this is verse 18. For because of their pride, right, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, right? That's talking about due to the pride of you people, man, because that's why the Lord is going to bring these evil times upon you people, right? It all goes back to your pride, right? 2 Esdras 8:50, pride. For many great misery shall be done unto them that in the latter time that dwelt in the world, because they have walked in great pride. So that pride of you Americans, man, is about to be the reason why the Lord is about to bring all of this chaos to you people's cities and states, and rightfully so. Because like I said, we're in a time and season of judgment and these things got to take place. It is what it is. It's all the will of the Lord. And like I said, we just pray and hope, Abaratazah, that we're the Lord's remnant. that hey, he has mercy upon us that we're able to make it through these times, you see, because it's going to get real crazy out here, man. Like I said, it's going to be a time like no other, man, right? And you're going to need the Lord for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians out here. You know, that's why, like I said, you want to turn to the Lord now while you still can, man, and not play around with this thing, man, because things are only going to escalate from here on out, man, because this devil Trump is moving, man. He's moving full forward with these devil's agenda, man. You know, the Lord is putting the spirit on this man, which is good. He's moving full swing with everything he wants to bring about, man. You see, this man is all gas, no brakes with this New World Order agenda that they're trying to bring. You see, so like I said, us knowing these things, guess what? Hey, us brothers and sisters, we got to be praying more now than ever. We got to be fasting now more than ever. We got to be doing everything we can to stay in the spirit, man. Because, hey, you don't want to be, you know, fading away or losing hope and things like that in these times, man. Because, hey, it's about to get real serious out here very soon, man. It's only a matter of time, you see. So with that being said, Lord's willing, I pray this video was edifying, you know, just something quick through the spirit. You know, to the next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect.